Welcome back to the NECBL Broadcast Network pregame show. I'm Joe DeLeon for today's edition of Gulls Insider, where we take a look at the various members of the Newport Gulls organization. Today, actually, we have a very interesting interview because if you're familiar with last week's broadcast, Nick Bello, who is a member of our media team, actually made it on top of the warehouse. If you're familiar with it, it stands right along the first base line, and oftentimes we'll run over to a shot in which there's people sitting on top of it. But we've discussed and we've talked about potentially going up there and talking to them, and you finally did what most of us were talking about doing. So what kind of brought you to actually being willing to go up there?
So I was on social media that night, and I told Shannon, our producer, before the game that if there's people up there, I'm going to go up there. And she kind of laughed at me, but she doesn't know me too well, and she doesn't know that I'm dead serious when I say things like that.
Did you think she wasn't taking you serious when you said that?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I knew she was not taking me serious, but I had to cement myself in Newport Gulls intern legend, and I had to go up there. So fortunately enough, my last night on social media, there were people up there, and so I just went for it. Came around where they were kind of sitting as like a porch thing over there. And there's like a ladder that goes up to the roof. And at first, I kind of tried to get their attention. They didn't listen to me, so I just kind of turned around and said, "Okay, it's not worth it." But then I stopped, and I was like, "No, this is gonna be a good story." So I went back, and I said it louder, and they're all like, "Yeah, come up," and they welcomed me up there, and I climbed up the ladder, got to see the view that no other Newport Gulls interns ever seen in their life. So yeah, I'm glad I went up there, and they're some very nice people.
Yeah, so from what I talked to you after the game, and we actually talked about it in the post-game report, you were saying that they're very, very nice people. They're very polite, and they were willing to talk to you and give you a little bit of information. What exactly is their story? What brings them up there? From what I understand, they're not actually the people that own the building, but they're actually people that live near it. So what is their story behind them?
Yeah, no, so they don't own the building themselves. It's their landlord that owns the building. They live in the apartment that's connected to the warehouse, kind of. But yeah, they've been there since 2014, which is a year that we won a championship, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, they were telling me stories about, some crazy stories about how people have almost been hit by balls, that balls just whiz by them. One of the tenants of the house told me that one time some kids climbed up the gutter. Really? And tried getting balls, and she caught them, and they tried going back down it that way, but she said no, go down the stairs. Yeah. I mean, they had a huge thing of baseballs too, which I was fascinated by. They had this huge thing on the side just filled with baseballs, which was cool.
I'm sure they collect plenty of them during the year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They had a couple hundred.
So, while that might have been the most daring thing that we've seen from Newport Gulls interns so far, from the past also, from what I understand, what is your next move going forward? If you have anything, tucked away in your arsenal right now. If not, are you in the works of something?
I can't confirm whether or not I am or am not, but I run by this quote from The Sandlot. It's when Babe Ruth walks out of Benny the Jet Rodriguez's closet and says, "Legends get remembered. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die." So it's a quote I live by every day. There might be some works of me, trying to do something else crazy, but as of right now, I cannot confirm.
So you certainly do need to be a little bit crazy to be successful. But Nick, you're going to leave things a little bit ominously, as if we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But that is it for Gulls Insider. I'm Joe DeLeon, and the NECBL Broadcast Network pregame show continues after this.